Recording, wonderful. Hello and welcome to Woo Wednesdays. I'm your hostess with the mostest, MoJo Medium, aka Susan Morrow Johnson. Find me on the web at mojomedium.com. And I work with women entrepreneurs and onepreneurs who are failing to find the fun, fulfillment, and funds that they want to get into business for. And especially women who are in recovery from MLMs. I love that. Love working with those folks. And when you're trying to find your way, I'm the wayfinder. So I really work on helping you to choose your destiny and align with your soul's goals and follow this simple 5-word message from your soul, which is use your talents in service. Use your talents in service. And that's what I do. All right. Today we have a special guest host. We don't always have a special guest host, but today we do. Jennifer Urezio. Did I say it correctly in Italian?
Perfectly.
Urezio. And so I'm going to let you introduce yourself because I don't think I could do it justice. So you
Oh,
go ahead and give us a little introduction and then we'll talk some more.
thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. So I am an intuitive business strategy and consciousness coach. I help people really tune into their personal soul and their business soul to create and receive from their big mission. I help people create 100-year businesses. I also created this paradigm called soul language, which puts tangibility to soul and the soul of a business by identifying the 3 core energies of soul. Why do you want that? Well, because when you have words, because humans love words, when you have words for what you know to be true, it allows you to create a conscious connection with that energy and move from your pain and programming to consciousness, which means you become an unstoppable freight train of goodness. So that's me in a nutshell.
I love Unstoppable Freight Train of Goodness. It's like a breakfast cereal, but it's not. I love
Yeah,
it. Beautiful. So what you mentioned, the 3 core
energies of soul,
energies of soul. Can you expound on that a little bit?
of course. So the first one is called Axiom of Quest, which is a sophisticated way of saying your mission or purpose. The second category is called axiom of translation, which is how you fuel that mission or purpose or how you'll be known here. And then the third category is called tone, which is your soulful personality, how your soul prefers to go through life. So
Mm.
when we identify the 3 soul languages, I give everyone a one-liner that becomes their mild marker of consciousness. If they're not being and doing that, they're creating struggle. So my mild marker of consciousness is I create balance for myself because it all starts at home and for others through love, integrity, and courage. And if they're not doing that, if I'm not doing that, I'm creating struggle. So my 3 soul languages are my mission is called equalizer. It's all about creating that perfect formula of balance, first for myself and then for others. How I feel that is called teacher of integrity. So all of my life, I've been able to see where people are out of the consciousness of love for themselves, offer them the chance to get back in, which means back into balance, which means back into being an unstoppable freight train of goodness. And then my soulful personality is called graceful warrior, action, movement, courage, and grace. Most of my life, not so graceful, at war with everything. And when you have warrior energy, which I do, and when I say that, people who have warrior energy nod their head. When you have warrior energy, if you are at war, if you're utilizing that unconsciously, it creates a lot of pain and struggle in your life. So that's a little bit about me and my soul.
That is fantastic. And I
Thank you.
appreciate you sharing your own stuff. What's interesting to me about what you say, and when I've talked to you briefly before, is there are a couple of things. One is that you and I sort of create the same results with our clients and with our audiences, which is to align with your soul's goals, or in your case, to know the soul languages and to keep doing that so that you don't create chaos, you create balance and ease. And we do it in different ways. But also, I'm fascinated by your languaging. It's like I mean, you've created your own way of talking about things and looking at things, which actually, come to think of it, so have I. But tell me more about how you intuited that language and that the process that you use.
So I was asking really big questions like, why am I here? I know my purpose on this planet. That's really good. God, that's what I call my higher power, but I'm really pissed off. And where are my community members?
Okay.
And I was at a conference and I sat down next to this person went, she went, we're going to be friends. And I was like, yeah, totally. And then my inside voice went, why her? And not this other, sorry, what I really said was, and not this freak across from me. That was when I was a little warrior, not this other person inside that I don't really care about if I ever see them again. They're nice and all, but no, no connection there. And I was on a massage table being covered in mud. And I'm asking these questions, and I hear through divine guidance, oh, that's soul language. And I was like, please, masseuse lady, please give me a pen because I have to start writing things down. And before long, I had this paradigm of 107 core energies across the three different categories. And I started identifying people, and it's not a quiz, it's not through your birth date, it's through kinesiology, muscle testing that we identify
Okay.
person's soul
Okay.
languages. And I went back to that woman and I was like, listen, I'm doing this thing. Can I identify your soul languages? And she's like, okay. And we found out that we had a language in common, which was the teacher of integrity.
Now,
And
hang on. You wrote this down during this mud
well,
massage.
it took me after I got off the thing, it took me 3 months to get it all settled down.
Okay, that was
Yeah,
I thought you
yeah.
like the
No,
next hour
I'm
you went back to lunch and oh, by
no,
the
I'm
way,
good, Suzanne, but I'm not that good. No, it took about 3 months. And what was really funny about her and I having that same core energy was she would tell a story and I'd be like, listen, the details are different, but I really truly understand really how you felt. And my story of that experience was that teacher of integrity, when people are don't want to be in integrity or in love for themselves, they at that time they would either attack me or run screaming from the room. And
mm,
I was at a fire circle
mhm,
and everyone was chatting and I said something and Susan, they stopped, looked at me and then turned back and picked up the exact conversation where they left off, like I never spoke.
mhm,
And she
mhm.
told a similar story, just different like different details.
Yeah,
And I was like, I really understand. And when you have that soul connection with someone, it's so powerful that then we can help move mountains. So one of the things I love doing is connecting people who have the same languages in common. And you watch them
mm.
create $1 million programs for Mars chocolate. Like it's pretty incredible when that comes together.
That sounds really amazing. I didn't know that that was part of what you do is, you take amongst your clients, you go, oh yeah, this one has the same soul language as this one, and you put them together.
Yeah.
That's really, really interesting. Did you do a joint venture with this woman or anything like that?
With the $1 million Mars chocolate person, no.
Yes. No,
I was
okay.
like, you two should meet. Here's the gut feeling. Here's the soul reasons why, and go
Okay.
have fun. Like,
Yeah.
right. What I've been doing with coaches is doing discovery sessions for their clients where we ID one of their soul languages. It's my gift. And
Mhm.
then I go back to the coach and I go, here's the hole in your business. Here's why it's happening. Here's why you're attracting this group. I don't think you want to attract that group. Let's tweak it so you attract somebody who really resonates with you or that makes you happy as your ideal client. And it also gives that coach's clients additional tools to evolve and work deeper in that coach's paradigm. And that's fascinating to me because it's like a giant math problem. Like we collect energy.
Yeah.
And so when you understand the energy you're collecting, you can go, oh, I'm trying to work out my mommy and daddy issues in this. Or I can go, oh, wait, no, this is the ideal client. This is really my community member. These are my support teams. I
Mhm.
I would identify all my support team people's languages and I would hire these assistants that would be great one day and then just disappear. I mean, literally like disappear. Or they would say that they did something and then I would go and it would never be done. And I'm like, what is going on?
Interesting.
And at the same time, my mom when you get a little calendar, hey, so, it said, hey, Linda Urizio set up a soul language session. I was like, Mom, I'm going to idea your languages, but I do not want to talk to you about them. Well, my mom spoke this soul language called negotiator, and all of these support team members were negotiators. And I was like, oh, I got a mommy issue
Oh,
here in my
oh,
support, right?
interesting.
So when you really understand like your core energy in such a profound way, you understand that like this is just a giant game and how do you want to play it? So
That actually sounds very cool.
it
I
is
love the
cool.
idea of playing a game. Okay, so you mentioned about your gift to people is to identify you give people one of their soul languages, is that
Yeah.
right? So you
It's
must have
called a
done
disc I gotta pop off my sorry. It's called a discovery session where we ID one of your soul languages. It's my gift.
I see.
Um, and then we work through a real life situation
Okay, that's
that,
what you were describing.
yeah.
Okay, so how can people get one of your discovery sessions?
If you go to I can post it in the chat, but if you
Okay.
go to my site,
Hmm.
it's under dude site. It's under soul language and soul language discovery session.
Okay.
We just redid the site a couple months ago because my marketing friends were like, why are there so many buttons? And I'm like, because I love to create content. And they're like, you don't need to have all this content like on that. So it's pretty now kind of easy to navigate.
I see it. I see it. Yes, it looks really nice. It looks really nice.
Thank you. We
Yeah,
worked really
absolutely.
hard on that.
I understand. I'm constantly working hard on everything. And and I have one team member right now, and she's amazing, but I'm still doing a lot of the tech and admin myself. And so yeah, I'd love to find out how I can improve on that, where I can get to the point
Well,
of doing less of that on my
you want
own.
to talk to Iris Goldfeder. I mean, she's
Iris
uh
too?
Goldfeder.
Okay.
She owns Gas Stove Creative. I believe that's the
Uh-huh.
so she's a marketing genius. So she's the one was like, girl, what's with all these buttons?
Okay.
And then I have a whole bunch of other designer names for you, but uh, she's like, let me just do it for you. I was like, no, I gotta literally touch this. Like, I've got to be involved in this for some reason. And finally, I called up my web guy. And I'm like, I give up. And he's like, why? I was like, I can't make this
I-
tech work. Just please, I don't care what I have to pay, just fix it. He's like, okay, well, do you have a template? Like, what do you want? I was like, I want it to look like this. And I sent him the kind of template. And he's like, oh, okay, we got
Mhm.
we got that. And he did
Good.
it in a day and a half. And I was like,
Oh, isn't that
I
wonderful?
not only that, but I spent like 3 weeks. This is like warrior unconscious. I spent 3 weeks pulling out my hair, going, I gotta make this work. I gotta make this work. No,
Right?
I had to feel safe asking for help and receiving support. And so often people don't feel that
That is true. That
and
is
have a
very true.
willingness to do that. And I think when we do, it up levels your business, your life in a whole new way.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Well, and for me, I had hired a few people over the years, and I'm celebrating my 25th anniversary of being in business for myself. Thank you.
Woohoo, let's have a party.
And almost 20 years as a psychic medium and coach. So that's pretty cool. So I had hired some people various times. Now I did have a web designer who was terrific. She was just wonderful. And then she taught me how to maintain my own site and how to
Right.
make changes and all that stuff. So she retired several years ago, and I've been doing it all by myself pretty much. And so that's all fine. But the other people I've hired, none of them have really made much of a difference until I hired Lindsay Lopez of virtuallylindsay.com. And she calls herself a solutions slinger, and I call her my emotional support human.
I love that.
No, she's part business manager, part business coach, part therapist. I mean, she's amazing. And when I first met her on a co-working event of some sort, over a year ago, I was like, she said, well, what are you working on? And I told her, well, I need to do this, this, and this, and I've got this going on, and then I have to, and I don't even know where to start, and blah, blah, blah. And I just sort of like bleh, word vomit on her, like for 3 to 5 minutes. And she just went, okay, here's what you need to do. First, do this, and then do that. I mean, she just went boom, boom, and it was so clear to her. It was just amazing. It was amazing. I
Yeah,
was just like blown away. So I put on my magic calendar, this was something that I just emailed to my audience this week about my magic calendar. It's a fun little thing that I do. And with Lindsay, I just skipped forward 6 or 8 weeks. I don't know how long it was, and put hire Lindsay on my calendar, on my Google Calendar. And I think I had to push that one back. I think I wasn't quite ready when I got to that date. So then I just put it on another random date down the line. And at that point, I came to that day and I was like, yep, we're ready. And I hired her.
love that.
Yeah, so that's my magic calendar. I've gotten speaking gigs that way. I've gotten all kinds of things that have come up and have done well. Money to come in for, like, I've put oh, today I've got the money to pay off this debt. Great. And then, then it comes to fruition. So that's the magic calendar technique.
I
And
love that.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's easy. And I find it to be powerful. And I don't know if I'm just a really good witch or if everybody can do it, but I think you should try.
Well, there are some people that are magically by nature, and you give a little structure and that boom, that magic. And then there are people who need more structure in order to access their magnet magic. So
That's
I would say that you're naturally great at magic, and a little structure goes a long way.
That is very true. And I thrive on structure because I have ADHD and I need structure to get anything done. Otherwise, I'm just like, and Lindsay really gets that. And so she's been the one hire over all the years who has really made a difference for me in my business. And we must have some kind of soul language connection together. I was flipping through my networking notes for the last time you and I met because I'm pretty sure you told me one of my soul languages and I could not find my notes and I don't know what you told me.
Hold on.
I'm putting you on the spot.
No, well, we keep notes, so hold on.
You do. Okay. I
Yeah,
keep these too, but they failed me today.
we keep a record of everyone's soul languages because people will go, hey, what's my soul language? And we're like,
Just like I just did.
yeah,
Good to know. Good to know.
uh, that is a no.
You don't have it. Maybe you
No,
didn't
we
give
don't
it to
didn't
me.
we didn't do it. But let me check
Mm,
one more place. Let me
okay.
check the grid, which we have a giant grid, which is like, so we just do the little circle, circle, find, circle, circle. My God, Google takes forever. Let's see how many Susans we have.
You got a lot, I promise.
Uh,
Most common name of my generation.
Mine is, I'm the common too, Jennifer.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you must be
Uh,
Gen X, I guess.
I was the year before Love Story came out. And so
Oh,
with Love
okay.
Story, the dining girl's name was Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone loved it.
Yeah. And your mom included.
No, my aunt named me because my mom wanted to call me Sam and my father wanted to call me Mary. We did not identify one
They
of your
didn't
soul
do
languages.
it. Okay. Well, I'm
So
gonna sign up for your discovery
yeah,
call. I
happy
gotta
to
do
do
that.
so.
Yeah, gotta do it.
Um, and so my aunt came and goes, well, why don't you just name her Jennifer? And they're like, oh, they both liked it. But
Okay.
could you really see me as a Mary?
No, I don't think
No.
so.
A Sam?
If you maybe, or Sammy, but
Yeah.
if you were a Mary, you would have a nickname like Molly.
Oh, I like that.
That would
I
work.
might change that.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Okay, so we've talked about how you and I kind of create this similar results with different ways. And all of my stuff that I teach and coach and so forth was also divine downloaded and over many years, but also all at once. You know, it was kind of like many years of I put this together. I teach this manifestation course, and this is fabulous. And I've done the master's course, and I've done this. So I've got all this together, and then it really coalesced during my second Saturn return, if you know anything about that, which I had a particularly long and difficult one. But it coalesced at that point with new language. And that's when I started with the destiny and aligning with your soul's goals, align with the divine. But it's the same thing that I've known and been teaching for 20 years. And it's powerful and effective. And it's really about everything vibrates, everything's energy. And in quantum physics, which I know this much about, really there is no such thing as matter. There's only energy.
Is
And
that freaky? Like our atoms
it
are
it
moving so fast that we're
it
not
did in
actually
my head.
solid. Freaks
Yes.
me out.
Well, so what we perceive as matter is actually energy that's vibrating at a low enough frequency that we can perceive it with our five senses.
I know,
So
it's
that's what we
crazy.
call matter. But yeah, the truth is that everything's energy.
Yeah.
And so when you start putting that together with the idea of, okay, so I'm part of all of this and I can manipulate it however I want to. You know, I can put my hand through the wall if I really want to. Of course, I don't know if I'll ever reach that point. The truth is, there is no spoon. In the Matrix.
We
I
say
love
this all
that.
the time in our house.
Okay, so Allison has to go bye-bye.
Hi,
Thank you for
Allison.
stopping by. I'll see you soon. Take care. So yeah, you say that in your house too. I love that. So if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's from the Matrix when Neo goes to see the Oracle and there are children there who are wise. And there's a little boy who bent the spoon and he's like, oh, is that what you do? And he goes, the truth is there is no spoon. Oh, what? So
I walked out of that movie going, oh my God, we're all in the Matrix. Like it freaked me out
yeah.
so much that I
Mhm.
spent a good time going, how do I get out of the Matrix? Which probably led me to the next phase of evolution and inviting all those teachers in that helped me get out of the Matrix.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think that there's an actual matrix where our bodies are being
No.
used for their energy, but the concept of, what we believe to be real is illusory. Yes,
Yeah.
and I love that. And so I'm a philosopher, and that's a big part of what I do anyway. Sorry, I'm kind of having to mess with that. So we were back to the discovery call that you do. So I do my discovery call a little differently. I call it a destiny diagnostic. And it is the beginning of figuring out what the person's destiny is. But I always qualify the word destiny by saying this is not some entity
Right.
controlling you and telling you you have to go and be Joan of Arc. Your destiny, for one thing, you have more than one. You get to choose it, whichever one you want to right now by using your talents in service.
Mhm.
And not only that, but you excuse me, what am I trying to say? I just totally lost my train of thought because of my own fingers. I'm distractible. So then we look at, okay, so what is your destiny or your purpose, and how do you align with those soul's goals? Because just like you're talking about the soul language, if we truly did make some plans for something we wanted to experience in this life, how do we know what those plans were? Yes, we can watch them unfold, but we've got this great communication from our soul, which is not just use your talents in service, but what your talents are. And so if you look at all of your talents, and we all have many more than we realize, that's one of the things that I work on too. If you look at all of them and choose the ones that light you up the most right now and do that, you use those talents in service for money or not, and not for servitude, then you feel great.
Yeah.
If we all used our talents, there would be perfect balance. If there weren't people just doing drudgery, and there weren't people just working their asses off to make money or abusing others to make money.
Right.
And if everybody was aligning with their talents, then we'd all be served and we'd all be happy and joyful. So that's the kind of nirvana, the kind of utopia that I'm hoping for. But let me come back to this. Okay, so I do my destiny diagnostic instead of a discovery call, and it's very similar and yet in a different way. So I've noticed that there are so many teachers like us coming forth in this time, and I believe it is about the rebalancing of the feminine and masculine energies. And somebody called me out on this the other day about, well, I'm in the queer community and I know too many but non-binary and masculine and feminine. I was like, yeah,
We all have it. It's how we're
that's
utilizing it.
right. So if gender is a spectrum, and I
Right.
can understand that it is, then we are all a mixture and we
Yeah.
can move back and forth. So
And
if
sacred
this is,
masculine and feminine energy is not about gender.
that's exactly right. It's just those are the words that relate to it.
Right.
So if this end is all like, let's see, on the masculine end, the extreme is build stuff and then blow it up. And on the extreme energy, the extreme feminine side is all hugging and crying. Then, we're all somewhere in between that. And we need that mixture. We need that blend. So the thing is, we've been way out of balance for a long time. And this century is our time to bring the
Well,
pendulum back a little
I
bit.
mean, have we been out of balance or have we, I mean, look at the Industrial Revolution, right? That would
Mhm.
have taken a lot of masculine energy to make that build,
Absolutely.
right? And
Yes.
so now that we've built to a certain point, are we coming back around to the circle to something that is more in harmonious with what
Mm.
we want to experience and create?
Mhm. Yes. Okay. I follow you on that. Exactly. I would just add a little bit. So you're right about the Industrial Revolution. That was a built thing, right? It was a very much a built thing, took a lot of Martian energy. So the problem that I see is that after that structure was built, that infrastructure was built, we didn't come back from
We
it.
didn't course correct.
So yes, so it's a thing that's long overdue to come back to a more balanced way of living. And it's for everybody. And I find that really, really interesting that we're all here. And I don't feel like I'm in competition with you at all. And maybe you don't either.
No,
It's
I think we're all doing the same thing. We're
we're
all
all doing the
reminding
same
people
thing.
they're
And
whole and
and
complete.
yes, and that everybody I can't possibly teach the whole world how to do this.
Not
I
only
have
that, but
to teach the world to sing.
your people are different than my people, right?
Yes,
Like, you
exactly.
know, they need to hear it out of my mouth. They need to hear it out of your mouth. Sometimes they need to hear it out of both of our mouths, right?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
that's okay. And, no one is the source for me. They're resources. Only source is a source, right? And so when I get on that bus, I'm like, okay, we're grooving. Sometimes I get off the bus and be like, oh my God, where am I? And that's okay,
But we all.
right? But I think so often, you know, healers, unconscious healers, will put them, I'm a healer and I heal people. And I'm like, good code with that. Like, I'm just giving you opportunity. You're doing the work. I think the more conscious healers that we have that are focusing on consciousness allow for a deeper kind of rebalancing of or offering to rebalance. And that will allow people who are on the fence of rebalancing to kind of make their move, so to speak.
I love that. That's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
I think that years ago, and I don't remember how long ago, but I got a divine download of you are now in a time when great peace and prosperity is possible for all people on the planet. And I was just like, wow, that's so cool. And I think that's really where we are.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, that for all of us to shift into a new paradigm where it's more about, where we're bringing in more about it's not all about, but we're bringing in more
Right.
about connection, community, support, helping one another, serving, not servitude, serving one another. I always have that caveat because all women are just like, oh, let me give you my blood and my bones. And
Servitude.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, where we're all supporting and serving and connecting and nurturing and being part of community, not to the exclusion of the building,
Right.
but to the point where the builders are also happy and fulfilled, where they feel connected and included and all of that. And these I blame it on my Christian upbringing. I'm not a practicing Christian, but so much of what I learned as a child stays with me about the good stuff. And Jesus actually espoused the feminine values about caring and nurturing and loving and supporting and helping and
Yeah.
visiting, visit the sick and help the poor, help the poor, help the poor, all that stuff. And so I love seeing that coming around. It feels real. It feels good. It feels like what we're here for.
Yeah. And it should feel real and it should feel good.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, well, I think we're going to wrap up early since we are by ourselves and there's
Okay.
nobody here to hot seat coach.
Mm.
Unless you wanted to do your discovery session with me here.
No.
No, you can't do that in front of other people.
Well,
Okay.
I could, but I mean, something might come up that, I wouldn't want to put you on the spot like that.
I appreciate that very much. That's very good. Okay, yeah, I appreciate that so much. And but I will be signing up for that because I am fascinated. Yeah, I love it. Okay, anything else you want to add besides your free discovery call?
No, I just want to remind everyone that they're whole and complete. And the biggest question you can ask your soul is, what do I need to know today? And allow that to take shape for you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I do something every morning called spray and pray. Well, I call it spray and pray in the shower. And this morning, the message was very clear. I need to be working on my speaking. So starting the day with Woo Wednesdays, I'm speaking. And
Love
then I'm
it.
going to go work on my speaker one sheet. And at the end of Woo Wednesdays, I usually will pull one of my good news only fortune telling cards,
I
which
love it.
but today I'm still in St. Louis. This is my sister's basement. And so I did not bring my good news cards, but I had my husband send me my regular oracle cards that I use in readings, Magical Mermaids and Dolphins, been using it
Fun.
for 20 some years. And so today I'm going to pull a card and we'll see what we got. Self-forgiveness. Ooh, let go of old guilt and remember you're God's perfect child. So my interpretation, besides the face value, which is you are whole and complete, and guilt is fattening, and it's the waste of your energy. I want to talk about something a little more specific. Um, this is, it's not always, when I pull this card, it's not always about childhood guilt, but this time it is. And it is the human condition that have we have guilt from childhood. No matter what it comes from, it's there. And so this is sort of this card today is about thinking about that. Like think about where do you have any guilt? And you'll find it's not really yours. It may be something that, mommy said no about, and then you felt guilty because you were wrong and bad and what have you. And so, if you listen to Brene Brown, she talks about shame is, I did something bad. Guilt is, oh, I am something bad. And so guilt is really, really dangerous. Shame isn't good either, but guilt is especially dangerous. So think about that today. And by the way, I didn't mention this, but if you are whenever you are seeing this, past, present, or future, this card is for you today. For the next few days to a week, see how that works out in your life. All right. So thank you again to my
Thank
special
you.
guest, Jennifer Urezio. And until next week, you be good. Okay.